大家好，你好吗? Hello everyone, I hope you're having a good day. Welcome back to another lesson of beginner conversational Chinese. And today we'll talk about countries and places. Our objectives for today is to learn the names of countries and places you've lived in. Okay, let's get started. Now, how would you say, where are you from? It's pretty simple in Mandarin Chinese. It is, 你是哪里人?你是哪里人? Now, if you've been with me for a few lessons already, 你 must look super familiar by now. 你 means you. 是 means to be. In Mandarin Chinese, we don't conjugate verbs at all. So, 是 is all kinds of to be. I am, you are, he is, she is, I was, they were. It's all 是. And again, a reminder of how to pronounce the SH sound in Chinese. It's a retroflex sound. Here's a handy trick to how to say it. It's like saying the English word shirt, S-H-I-R-T, without the T. 是, 你是 together means you are. 哪里, 哪里 means where. It's a new question word. 哪里. There's another way to say 哪里, which we'll learn later. And then the last one is 人. 人 means person or people. The R in 人 is a retroflex sound, which requires you to curve the tip of your tongue backwards, which can be tricky at the beginning, but with practice, I'm sure you will learn the hang of it. So together, the sentence is 你是哪里人? Which literally means you are where person, which means where are you from? Now, before we address how you would answer it, let's go over another way of asking where you're from. This time, we're specifically asking about the country that the person you're talking to is from. 你是哪国人? 你是哪国人? So it's very similar to 你是哪里人, right? 你是 means you are. 哪, so 哪里 means where. 哪 by itself could also mean which. So here it means which. 国 means country. 哪国 means which country. 人 again means person. So literally, you are which country person. So it means which country are you from. 你是哪国人? 很好, very good. Let's take a look at how we would answer these two questions. So to answer both 你是哪里人 as well as 你是哪国人, we can use the same response. 我是 insert place 人. 我是 blank 人. So I'm sure you're familiar with 我 by now, I or me. I 是 here means am. Since 是 is super versatile, we don't have to conjugate it for different pronouns. 我是 and 人 means person again. So you just have to put the place that you're from before 人 to mean I am from that place. Now you can be as specific or as broad as you want with the first question, 你是哪里人? Where are you from? Depending on the context, you can say the country you're from, the city you're from, the village you're from, whatever. The second question, 你是哪国人 specifies the country, so you would need to answer with the country. Now let's take a look at a few countries in Chinese. So here are 12 countries that we're going to learn how to say in Chinese. The good news is the majority of them are phonetic. So let's get started from the top and we'll go clockwise. So the first one is 西班牙. 西班牙, which means Spain. It's supposed to sound like España, 西班牙. And then the next one is 俄国, 俄国, which means Russia. So you might remember 国 means country. So 俄国 is technically an abbreviated way of saying Russia. You could also call it 俄罗斯, 俄罗斯, but 俄国 is easier, 俄国. When you see the E in the pinyin, you might be tempted to pronounce it as the English way, like E. But in pinyin, it's So 俄国. 很好。Next one is China. 中国，中国。Now the CH sound is again a retroflex sound in Chinese. So to pronounce that, you have to curl the tip of your tongue backwards. But the easy way to do the ZH sound is to think of the word jerk, J-E-R-K, and you say it without the K sound at the end to approximate the retroflex sound. 中国，中国。中 by itself means middle, because in ancient China, people in China thought that they were in the middle of everything, so they called themselves the middle country, which is 中国. Now next one, 日本，日本. So this pinyin combination might be a little challenging for RI, 日. The R sound is a retroflex sound, requiring you to curl the tip of your tongue backwards, and then the vowel sound is a little unusual as well. 日，日. So try it a few times with me. 日，日. Don't worry if you can't get it exactly right. Just keep practicing and you'll get better. 本，日本 is Japan. Now the next one is hopefully easier. 澳大利亚，澳大利亚. There's no difficult consonants or vowels in here, and it sounds like Australia. 澳大利亚，很好。Next one is India, 印度，印度。India sounds a little like Hindu, 印度，很好。Next one is 南非，南非 South Africa. 南非 is an example of a combination of literal translation and phonetic translation. 非 is supposed to be phonetic for Africa. 南 means south, so it's a combination of both ways of translation. 南非 South Africa. Next one, 巴西，巴西 means Brazil. 巴西. Now, the X sound is kind of similar to the English SH sound, except you put the tip of your tongue right against your front lower teeth. 巴西. Okay, the next one is super phonetic again. 墨西哥，墨西哥 Mexico. 墨西哥. Okay, the next one is 美国 America. 美国. So 美 is supposed to be phonetic for America, the ME part of America. But 美 by itself also means beautiful. So it is a very nice name for America, 美国. The next one is 加拿大. 加拿大 sounds like Canada, right? 加拿大. And then we have 英国, 英国, which is the United Kingdom. The yin part is supposed to be phonetic, as in England. 很好. If there's a country that you want to know how to say that's not on the list, it's really easy to look it up. There's many online dictionaries that you can use. For example, there's MDBG, which is a very handy dictionary that you can look up things and it will give you the explanation and a lot of useful information. And there's also another dictionary called Line Dictionary, which is also very helpful. And there's apps that you can download like Plickle and other apps. You can even use Google Translate. But just remember, for the words that are homophones with multiple meanings, you might want to double check. So for example, the country Turkey could also be a bird. So you want to double check to make sure you're getting the word that you want. Now let's take a look at smaller places, cities, states, or provinces. The first one is my hometown, Shanghai. Shanghai, which is obviously Shanghai. Shanghai. Next one, 纽约. 纽约, highly phonetic. It means New York. 纽约. The next one is again phonetic. 伦敦. 伦敦 means London. 伦敦. Next one is not so phonetic. 东京. Dong means east. Jing means capital. So it's the eastern capital of Japan. So it's called Dongjing, Tokyo. Next one is my current city, 奥斯汀. 奥斯汀, Austin. See how it's highly phonetic? 马德里. 马德里 is for Madrid. 马德里. Now let's take a look at some states and provinces. 四川省. 四川省. Now Sichuan obviously means the Sichuan province. 省 by itself means province. If you go to a Chinese restaurant, at least in North America, chances are that they're gonna specialize in Sichuan cuisine because it's very popular overseas. 广东省. 广东省 is a province in southern China which specializes in Cantonese cuisine, which I also like very much. 广东省. Next one is a state in the US, 德州. 德州 is a shortened way to say Texas. The complete way is 德克萨斯州, which is a mouthful, so people usually just shorten it to 德州. 州 by itself means state, so you're literally saying 德 state. Next one is 加州. Again, a shortened way to say California, because the complete way is 加利福尼亚州, which is a mouthful. So 加州 is a lot easier. Now the next one is 安达卢西亚. 安达卢西亚. A region in Spain, in southern Spain, Andalusia. 安达卢西亚. Very phonetic. Next one is 安大略省. 安大略省. 省 again means province. 安大略 is the Chinese approximation of Ontario. Okay, so if you want to look up your city name or state or province names, it could be hard to do it in a dictionary, as most dictionaries are limited in terms of specific place names. Here's where Google Translate has its advantages, because you can look up most places in Google Translate and it will give you the right phonetic translation. The next one is kind of a review of what we just learned and what we've learned in previous lessons regarding how to ask questions. So this one is, are you from a place? 你是 place 人吗? 你是 blank 人吗? So 你是, we've seen 你是 already, you are. 人 means person. 吗 is a question word for yes or no questions. For example, 你是上海人吗? Literally, you are Shanghai person, yes or no, which is, are you from Shanghai? 你是上海人吗? So again, to form a yes or no question in Chinese, it's very simple. You just make the statement and then put ma at the end. Now, how would we answer this question? So in Chinese, we don't really strictly have a word for yes or no, like in the English sense. But obviously, there are ways to answer these questions. You can use 对 or 不对 for fact-based questions. So 对 by itself means correct. 不对, remember 不 negates things, so 不对 means incorrect. And oftentimes, we simply answer by repeating the verb or negating the verb. So if your answer is affirmative, you would use the verb here, which in this case is 是 to be. You would say 是 am, I am, or 不是 不是 不 is for negation, as in I am not. And of course, another way to answer it would be just to say the whole thing, like I am from Shanghai, or I am not from Shanghai. So again, the question is, 你是上海人吗? 你是上海人吗? Are you from Shanghai? And let's go over the 3 ways of answering that. So first of all, you can say 对, correct, or 不对, incorrect. Since it's asking about a fact, so it's appropriate to use correct or incorrect to answer. Or you could just answer with the verb 是 or 不是. Or you can say the whole thing, 我是上海人, or 我不是上海人. 很好, we'll do more practice later. The next one is a similar question, just a different way of asking. Where's your hometown? 你老家在哪儿？你老家在哪儿？ Now let's break it down. 你 you, 老家 means hometown. 老 means old. 家 means home or family, which we saw in our last lesson. 大家 literally means big family, but it means everybody. So your old home is your hometown. 老家在 means at, but you can kind of use it as a verb. When you put 在 before a place, it means to be at a place. So for example, I could say 我在上海 I am in Shanghai, or 我在奥斯丁 I am in Austin. And to negate it, you can just put a 不 in front of it. 我不在上海 I am not in Shanghai. Yeah, pretty easy, huh? And then the last part of this sentence is 哪儿. So 哪儿 means where. It means the same thing as 哪里, which we've seen in 你是哪里人. You guys might have noticed that 哪儿 has two characters, but the pinyin is one syllable. That's because it's technically 哪 plus r, and then we've merged it into 哪儿. That is a very common feature of the Beijing dialect. Mandarin Chinese is actually a language based on the Beijing dialect, which is known for putting r's after a lot of things. And that's why 哪儿 kind of retains the feature of the Beijing dialect. And even though 哪儿 and 哪里mean exactly the same thing, there's a slight difference in how frequently we use it depending on where you are. In southern China, people are more likely to say 哪里, whereas in northern China, they're more likely to use 哪儿. But you can use whichever one you want, 哪儿 or 哪里. Okay, let's say the whole thing again. 你老家在哪儿? Literally, you, hometown, at where. So you might have noticed, instead of saying your hometown, I'm saying you hometown. That's because in Chinese, sometimes we can omit the possessive form. And in this case, you can also think of it as a topic-comment structure. That my topic is you, and my question is hometown where. 你老家在哪儿? How would we answer that question? 我老家在 insert the place. 我老家在. So it's pretty simple. Instead of 你, we say 我 since you're answering for yourself. 老家 hometown 在. For example, 我老家在上海. My hometown is Shanghai. Even though in English you would say my hometown is a place, in Chinese it's common to say my hometown is at a place. Now how would you say my hometown isn't Shanghai? 很好, very good. You need to negate the verb here, which in this case is 在. Even though in English, at is not a verb, in Chinese it acts like a verb. So you would just say, 我老家不在上海. 我老家不在上海. Now how would you say, is your hometown Shanghai? 很好, very good. So instead of 我, you need to switch it to 你. 你老家在上海. Your hometown is in Shanghai. Yes or no, 吗? 你老家在上海吗? Is your hometown Shanghai? How would you answer that question? So we have a lot of options. You could either say 对, correct, 不对, incorrect, or you could just pick out the verb, which is 在 here, 在 or 不在, or you could say the whole thing. 我老家在上海 or 我老家不在上海. Okay, next one. Where do you live? 你住在哪里? 你住在哪里? Now we've seen most parts of this sentence already. 你 for you. 住 is a new word. 住 means to reside. Remember the CH sound? To make the retroflex sound, to approximate it, you can say the word jerk without the K. 住. And then we've seen 在 already. 哪里 where. What's another word for 哪里? 很好, very good. 哪儿 哪儿. So this question you could either say 你住在哪里 or 你住在哪儿. Notice how in Chinese open-ended questions, we also don't change the word order. In English, you don't simply say you live where. In Chinese, it's perfectly fine. You reside at where. Now, how do we answer that question? It's very easy. 我住在 blank. 我住在 blank. So instead of 你, we're saying 我 and then 住在 reside at. For example, 我住在奥斯汀. 我住在奥斯汀. Now, how would you say, I don't live in Austin? 很好，我不住在奥斯汀. You just negate the verb here, which is 住, right? So, 我不住在奥斯汀. How would you say, do you live in Austin? 你住在奥斯汀吗？你住在奥斯汀吗？ To answer that, you could say 对 correct, 不对 incorrect, or 住 or 不住 to use the verb, or just the whole thing, 我住在奥斯汀 or 我不住在奥斯汀。很好， we've learned a lot today, so let's have a review session. How would you say, where are you from? And then answer that. 很好 You would ask, 你是哪里人? Literally, you are where person, but it means where are you from? And to answer that, you would say, 我是 insert place, 人. So, 我是上海人. Next question, which country are you from? 很好，你是哪国人？你是哪国人？ You are which country person? So to answer that, I would say 我是中国人. I'm from China, and you can answer it with the country you're from. 我是 blank 人. Next one, where is your hometown? And answer it. So there are two ways to ask the question. 你老家在哪儿? Or 你老家在哪里? 哪儿 and 哪里 mean the same thing. Literally, you hometown at where? To answer that, 我老家在 blank. So I could say, 我老家在上海. I hometown at Shanghai. Okay, next one. Where do you live, and how would you answer that? Again, there's two ways to ask the question. 你住在哪里? Or 你住在哪儿? You reside at where? And to answer that, 我住在 place. For example, 我住在奥斯汀. I live in Austin. Okay, the next one. Are you from China? And how would you answer that?很好. So first, you make a statement. 你是中国人. You are from China. And then simply put a ma at the end. Yes or no? 你是中国人吗? 你是中国人吗? And to answer that, you could pick out the verb, which is 是 here. You could say 是 or 不是 for no. Or you can say correct, incorrect. 对 for correct, 不对 for incorrect. Or you can repeat the whole thing. 我是中国人, I am from China, or 我不是中国人. Okay, last but not the least, is your hometown the US? And how would you respond to that? Again, to make a yes or no question, you make the statement first and add ma at the end. 你老家在美国吗? 你 for you, 老家 hometown, literally old home. 在 at 美国 America 吗？你老家在美国吗？ And to answer that, you can say 在 at, because we use at here as a verb, or 不在 not at, or 对 correct, 不对 incorrect, or the whole thing, 我老家在美国 or 我老家不在美国。 Okay, now let's have a practice conversation to see how much we've remembered. So I'll say a line and give you a moment to respond before I tell you the answer. The first one, 你好，请问你是中国人吗？你好，请问你是中国人吗？ Notice in this question I'm being very polite here. I'm saying hi, 你好，请问 may I ask, 你是中国人吗？ You are Chinese person, yes or no? So if you are, which you probably are not, otherwise you wouldn't be learning Chinese with me. On the off chance that you are, you would say 我是中国人, or you can just say 是 by using just the verb, or you can say 对 correct. And if you are not, you would say 不是 or 不对 or the whole thing, 我不是中国人。 Next one, 你是哪国人？你是哪国人？很好。So instead of 你, you would answer with 我是 and then wherever you're from, the country that you're from, plus 人. So I would say 我是中国人. I am Chinese. If you are an American, you would say 我是美国人. If you are from Spain, you would say 我是西班牙人。很好 Next one, 你老家在哪里？你老家在哪里？ Did you understand that one? I'm asking about your old home, which is your hometown. Where is your hometown? So you would answer with 我老家在 blank. Literally, I hometown at blank. So 我老家在上海. My hometown is Shanghai. Last one, 你住在哪儿？你住在哪儿？ I'm asking about where you currently live. So literally, 你住在哪儿? You reside at where? You would answer it with 我住在 place. So 我住在奥斯汀. I live in Austin. Okay, so we've learned a lot today. 谢谢你. Thank you for being here with me. 再见. See you in our next class.